What's up, guys? So on today's video we're going to be doing the very first bourbon review on Binks' Beard and Bourbon. Alright guys, so again, this is the first bourbon review and I gotta tell you, I'm pretty stoked about this. This is something, you know, along with having a beard, this is one of the other things I really enjoy. I enjoy bourbons and other whiskeys. I tend to gravitate towards bourbons, but I still can appreciate and enjoy other scotches and other whiskeys. I chose this one first because this one was one of the first ones that it was probably maybe the fourth or fifth one that I probably tried when I first started bourbons, and it became a classic for me. I'll give you a little history on this. It's called the John E. Fitzgerald Larceny. John E. Fitzgerald, historically speaking, the brand markets it as like he had his own distillery, but then later, if you kind of research a little bit more, he was actually a treasury agent, and at the time, treasury agents kind of kept watch over rack houses, and they were the only ones with keys. So apparently this guy had some really good taste, and he would pick certain barrels, and he would take, obviously, some samples out of the barrels. And as the workers would get in there and start processing the product, they would see that there were barrels that were lighter than others, and they called those the Fitzgerald barrels. This was all around in the 1870s, and at the time, that distillery was owned by an S.C. Hearst. Later in the 1880s, the Pappy Van Winkle family purchased the distillery, and it's now a Pappy Van Winkle product, so that's freaking awesome in itself. But here's why I like this bourbon a lot. One, I mean, the bottle kind of speaks to me a little bit. It's a very classic bottle, pretty easy to hold. I like the way, you know, it feels. At least where I'm at, I live in Missouri, and I can get this for $22 a bottle, and I know pricing goes all over the place. But this is, for the money, this is really good. I feel like it's a great quality bourbon for 22 bucks. And it tastes great. And like I said, I'll get into the tasting, what I taste in it, and we'll just go from there. So, here we go. Alright. So, alright, let's go. We'll start with a little bit of smell here. So I get kind of a sweet honey butter smell out of this. Now this is just the whiskey straight. I'm not adding water or anything to it yet. I like to really take it in when it's straight out of the bottle like this and straight. Maybe a little bit of vanilla in there. And guys, remember when you're doing this and trying to really see what a whiskey's made of or what it's like, it's all subjective. Everybody's gonna smell a little something different. But I get kind of like a honey butter vanilla out of this. This is a wheated bourbon, so what that means is there's no rye in the grain mash. So that's gonna let, you know, a lot of the wheat and the corn, probably the sweetness from the corn is what I'm getting from that, and is what I'm getting these smells from. The more I smell it, it's great. It's just got a really sweet, warm smell. I think that's why I like bourbon so much, is it has a warmth to it. But yeah, I get kind of a sweet butter, honey, vanilla smell out of this. So I'm gonna go ahead and get into the tasting here. So it's got a warmth to it right from the get-go, but not a bad, like, it's not one of those bourbons that I think has it's all burn. This one has, there's warmth. It does get a little bit of burn at the end after I take it down. I still am getting kind of a sweet, mellow, like a honey vanilla flavor. And yeah, that's, again, the warmth is there. So I'm gonna just pour a little bit more. Okay. And this is something that I would tell everybody, you know, you really want to get into bourbon, you want to learn about it and really have a good experience with bourbon. Do these little tastings, do it with some friends, do it by yourself, kind of teach yourself about it. So I'm going to add a little bit of, this is just water here. It's filtered water. Just a little dash to it there. I'll let it get in there. And what that does chemically is it really kind of opens up. This is anything. You can do this with any whiskey, really. And you've probably seen, there's people when they're enjoying whiskey, they'll put ice and then they're going to put a little bit more water in there. And that kind of has its own effect, and I'll kind of do another video on that. But this is me doing a pure tasting here. The smell got a little softer after I'd put the water in. Still, it still has a sweet warm smell is what I have in here now. And that really brightened up that honey taste that I was getting. It made it last a little longer with the water in there. Yeah, I didn't take the warmth away at all. That warmth is still there. Again, that's one of the main attributes I love about bourbon. It just makes me want to relax, sit back, enjoy time with family, friends, whatever. But in this case here, just a very good bourbon. Like I said, the water just kind of helped open and kind of make that sweet taste last a little bit longer. Gotta say, like I said, guys, I enjoy this. This is one of my favorites, one of my go-tos. If you haven't tried it yet, if it's something you've been looking at on the shelf whenever you go shopping, I suggest, hey, pick a bottle up. Like I said, for me, it's not that, the pricing isn't that bad. I would hope it's the same for everybody else, proportionally speaking. So, with that being said, guys, that was my review of Larceny. If you like what you see, please subscribe. And, you know, if you've got any questions or comments, please go ahead and leave them below. I love reading them, love answering questions. And I hope you guys have a great week. Cheers.